Hello, everyone. Welcome to Preterist Papers. This is the fifth discussion in our series, and it's called The Christian Messianic Age Has No End. You can find this two-page printable fact sheet on our website, preteristpapers.com. A lot of confusion arises from phrases like the time of the end and the last days. The last days of what, we might ask? This paper seeks to sort out these time phrases and references. Generally speaking, the writers of the New Testament had the conception of two ages, the Mosaic Age and the Messianic Age, also called the Old Covenant and the New Covenant. Because the New Testament writers wrote before the end of the Mosaic Covenant, which was with the destruction of the temple in AD 70, they described the two ages as this age, meaning the Mosaic Age, and the age to come, which is the Messianic Christian age. In this paper, we substantiate these assertions with Scripture. Number 1 states, the Christian age has no end. Right away, you can see that this contradicts what many Bible teachers assert, and yet there is abundance of Scripture regarding this fact, as you can see. Number 2 points out that if the Christian age has no end, then when the New Testament refers to the time of the end or the end of the age or last days, we can logically conclude that it's speaking of the Old Covenant. We will substantiate this claim with Scripture as well. Number 3 makes the point that the Bible does not speak of the end of time. There are no verses that state such a thing. It speaks of the time of the end, but not the end of time. As an example, the school year has a time of the end, but this has nothing to do with the end of time. And number 4, we show scriptural proof that Jesus and the apostles lived at the end of the Old Covenant. So when they referred to this age, it was a reference to the end of the Mosaic Covenant age. Numbers 5, 6, and 7 pertain to a common misunderstanding, that the New Covenant began at the cross. Certainly, the New Covenant was initiated at that time, but there were still approximately 40 years, a generation in Jewish reckoning, to finish up the old order and to fully bring in the new. Think of the Old and New Covenants as overlapping ages. That is why we see Old Covenant practices still being performed by Jews during New Testament times, like, for example, Paul taking a Nazirite vow in Acts. Paul and the other apostles were living in that overlapping time, what is called by theologians the already but not yet. This number 8 explains the already but not yet that lasted approximately 40 years, beginning around AD 30 until the end of the Old Covenant in AD 70. Video number 8 is more in depth on this topic. Videos 1 and 2 in this series are essential foundations to understand that there are no unfulfilled scriptures in the Old Testament. Otherwise, the Mosaic law would not have passed away, because Jesus said every bit of the law and the prophets had to be fulfilled before it would pass, as in item number 9 on this document. For some people, it seems the anticipation of the future coming of Christ is the essence of their faith. This is a sad consequence of futurist eschatology. It makes people live in a constant anticipatory state instead of the joy of the presence of God with us right now. Instead of living in the grace-filled presence of the love of their life, they're anticipating something to happen materially in the future, which the Bible does not teach. This is heart sickness. In Proverbs we find, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Proverbs 13:12. Futurists who find themselves in this sadness of wishing for that which is not, in other words, some kind of materialistic perfection, must search for a greater reality, that which is right here, right now. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." And Paul said, as believers, we have every spiritual gift right now. As always, do not believe us, but prove all things. Hope you will join us in the next video. Shalom.